Welcome. I'm Reverend Deborah Johnson, Rev D. Welcome to Inner Light Ministries, to our weekly virtual gathering. We're so glad to have you with us. Just take a breath and take another breath. With every breath, we allow ourselves to become more present. There's so much that's vying for our attention these days. And we're creating a little space here for us to just be, for us to listen, for us to grow and to heal, to transform. What an honor and a privilege it is to have the opportunity to literally have the freedom. And we give thanks to all of the foremothers and forefathers and everybody who have been social justice workers that have provided the opportunity for us to be able to celebrate, to worship the God of our own understanding, to be willing to explore that, see if it fits for us at all. And if you're here, I know that you're part of that great journey and that great adventure. And we honor your journey. At Inner Light, we're all here about the transformation. We're about the healing. We're about allowing our own inner light to come forth and to shine. We embody spiritual oneness. We appreciate individualized expressions. We honor all paths that lead to spiritual truth, all paths that lead to social justice, all paths that lead to environmental sustainability. We're a radically inclusive collective, in a network, not just specific individuals in a geographic location. People are tuning in from across the nation and literally from all over the world. And I just say thank you. Thank you for allowing us to be on this journey with you. We offer tools. We offer ways of actually putting these universal spiritual principles that we talk about into practice. And one of the things that we offer every week are affirmative activations. These are phrases, they're sayings, they're words, they're concepts, they are ideas, they are practices, they're principles. They are ways of recalibrating our energy so that we resonate on the higher vibration. They're like a tuning fork, so to speak, or a North Star that keeps us moving in the right direction. And the more that we repeat, the more that we say them, the more that they take root within us, the more likely we are to be able to manifest the fruit that comes out of the deep embodiment of these concepts. If you are able to, I invite you to say them with me as they appear on your screen. There are at least two sides to every story, and then there's the truth. I am more concerned with the truth than with my side. I willingly relinquish my side for the truth. Laying down the armor, I am free from the burden of its weight. Perceiving with my third eye, I pierce through the appearances. I have the courage to listen, the willingness to hear. I have the strength to endure and the courage to correct quickly. Divine guidance fortifies me with patience and compassion. It is an orderly universe, and all things are working together for good. So let that sink in for a moment. We'll be talking about taking sides versus revealing truth. Is there something here that's calling to you? Maybe it's there are at least two sides to every story, and then there's the truth. Perhaps divine guidance fortifies me with patience and compassion. I have the courage to listen, the willingness to hear. It's an orderly universe, and all things are working together for good. Whatever that is that's calling to you, I invite you, when you come back and you listen to this and you repeat it, that you zero in a little bit, spend a little bit of extra time on those things that you're really resonating with. Also, if there's something that you're finding like, like maybe I'm more concerned with the truth than my side. If you feel like I'm not so sure I'm really quite there yet, that's another place to spend some extra time on. So what's calling to you and what you're resisting, they both have the gifts for you. Let's just breathe that in for a second. Breathe that in. So we're going to listen to a song. It's a video that will just kind of help set the mood, set our consciousness for the message to follow. It's a wonderful song with a collection of artists, Karen Drucker, Amy Bishop, and Gary Lynn Floyd.
When you're losing your way, when it's too much to take, when your will is broken, I'm here. I can be your shelter, be your safe place to land. When your heart feels empty, I'm here. I have enough love for both of us. I know it's gonna be okay. I have enough love for both of us. And love always finds a way. Love always finds a way. If the future's unknown and the path's overgrown, I will cradle your soul. Don't fear. Don't fear. Though you don't have the answers, may not know where to go, but what you need is inside you. Just trust, and you'll know. You'll know. I have enough love for both of us. I know it's gonna be okay. I have enough love for both of us. And love always finds a way. Love always finds a way. I'm your light in the storm. I'm your call to come home. I'm your beacon of hope. You can count on me. You can it's gonna be okay. I have enough love for both of us, and love always finds a way. Love always finds a way. I know it's gonna be okay. Love always finds a way. I know it's gonna be okay. Love always finds a way. Love will always find a way. Love always finds a way. It's gonna be okay. Love always finds a way. Hold my hand, it's gonna be okay. Love always finds a way. It's gonna be okay. Love will always find a way. Love always finds a way. Yeah, it's gonna be okay. Love always finds a way. It's gonna be okay. I know it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. I know. Love will always find a way.
We say thank you to Karen and Amy and Gary. Love always finds a way. As we're talking today about moving beyond the sides and that willingness to reveal the truth, there are at least two sides to every story, and then there's the truth. And when I say two sides to every story, I really mean that. The story could just be within you. Okay, you can have all kinds of aspects within yourself. I want to do it. I don't want to do it. I'm afraid to do it. I'm excited to do it. There's like all these different stories that you may be having going on in your own head. Okay. And beyond all of that, there's a truth. Okay. So what do I mean when I say that there's a truth? I can't define truth. Infinite concepts can never be defined, but they all have trademarks. They have ways of expressing or showing up. You can't really define life or beauty or joy. You know, you'd be hard for us to even really define music. You know, sounds with rhythms and beats and syncopations, you know, maybe technically speaking, but that doesn't help you feel the essence of what music is. But we know some of the things that it does, the way that it heals and that it moves and it inspires and it connects, and all of these things are like beyond definition. Well, it's the same thing with truth. Truth has earmarkings. And what do we know about truth when it shows up? Several things. One is that when you hit upon the truth, it never seems new. You ever notice that? When you really hit upon truth, there's something that makes you exhale. You relax into it. Something within you goes, oh, yeah. Yeah, of course, that makes sense. Okay. There may be an uh-oh that comes along with it. You know, like my mentor used to always say, the truth shall set you free, but first it'll piss you off. But there's something where you're not fighting anymore. You're not denying it. When that truth really sits in, it finds a place within you because it doesn't feel new. There's a way that you can embrace it where it makes some sense. And there's often that feeling of it was around me all the time, but I just couldn't see it. I just couldn't see it because of the filters that I was using, because of the constructs that I was stuck in, my ideologies, my perspectives, my identities, that there was something that wasn't letting me perceive something. Okay. So it doesn't feel new. The truth, there's something transcendent about it, that feeling like it's always been there. And when you hit upon that sense of the truth, it's more than just about this situation. There's some kind of way where it connects to life itself, like eternal ways of being. And you can see that whatever your circumstances or conditions that you're in, it's not the end all, be all, do all. It's just another example. It's just another way that life is showing up. Other earmarkings of truth. It's inclusive. It doesn't leave anybody outside or on the margins. It has a place for everyone. The truth is redemptive in the sense that when you hit upon it, there's something that calls you up to the higher angels, so to speak. So even if you're looking at something that was dastardly, just by looking at it, you will start to perceive other possibilities of how it really didn't need to be that way. There really were some other options or things that might have been available. See, these are some of those earmarkings of truth. And with that inclusion, that nobody can have a monopoly. Nobody can have a monopoly. Nobody can own truth. It can't be patented. And the only way we're ever going to be able to see it is to move beyond. I was doing some recording recently of some of my spirit letters. I have these series called Letters from the Infinite. These are spirit letters that have been published, but I've got thousands of these letters now. Most of them obviously aren't published. But I was doing some of the published ones, particularly from the second volume, Your Deepest Intent, which does not have an audio program. There is an audio program for the first volume, The Sacred Yes, but I was redoing the letter called Be My Lover. It's actually two together, Be My Lover and I Will Be Your Lover Too. And there's a line in there where the second part, there was actually two letters that were a couple of years apart that were combined, where the spirit voice is saying, I will be your lover too, and what the relationship of how we'll work together. It says, you'll never be confused. That you'll never be confused about anything that, forgot the exact words, but basically that I'm thinking or feeling or however it said it, like a spirit perspective. So you'll never be confused if you're willing to see things through my eyes. If you're willing to see things through my eyes. When we go to do reconciliation stuff, isn't that what one of the basic principles that we're always trying to do? Is not just get stuck in our own perspective, but to listen, to see what it looks like through somebody else's eyes. Part of the problem here, though, is that if that's all we do, I'm giving you my perspective. I'm listening to your perspective. And we're just agreeing to disagree, or like whatever that is. We're going to honor each other's otherness. There's something transcendent of that. The divine doesn't deal in otherness. The divine is one inclusive wholeness where we're all different aspects of this one wholeness. So to get to that, at least two sides to every story, and then the truth, the question that I ask myself is, what would this look like beyond sides? What would this look like if there was not the othering, the polarization from a place of pure oneness, equality, egalitarianism, the everyone has value and worth? And what would all of this look like through that lens? When I do that, then I start to get a greater sense of what's going on. And whatever that is, it becomes more complicated. It's not just this, black or white. I remember an exercise that we did at the Inner Light Center. This was back in maybe 2015, 2016. I was doing a series, and it was called For Such a Time as This. And I think a lot of that's still on YouTube now. It's really fascinating, where I just went through all these different social political issues, things that were going on, from mass incarceration to stop and frisk, to what was happening with corporate control and politics, just like all these different things to kind of help us understand our world, and putting all of that into some kind of a spiritual context. So there are different exercises and things that I've developed during the years, conflict resolution stuff. And one of these exercises is where you have people talk to each other, and they are sharing a bit about each other, like what I would like for you to know about me. So, like, let's just say, for example, if we were doing this around a gender polarity, and I had females saying to males, like, this is what you need to understand about us, or if this was racial stuff, different cultural things. But what is it that you need to understand? So at this particular point, needless to say, there was a lot of social upheaval and stuff going on then towards the 2016 election, just like we were, in now. And, we obviously know what happened with the 2016 election. And I had people do this exercise. We were looking at regional differences. And I was showing how there have been these trends that have been there since the beginning. That this idea that we're just razor thin, that literally is built in. I mean, it was like built into the Constitution. That when the colonies got together in order to fight the British to try to get sovereignty and independence as a nation, that these colonies that were operating pretty much independently, band together. But one of the things that they could not agree on was whether white people had the right to enslave people of African descent. Couldn't come to an agreement on that. So they finally decided to split the difference and literally created this compromise of a half and half. Okay? So that half the nation could and half the nation couldn't. There had to be like this equal number of states. And I was showing how this kind of bifurcation of consciousness, this split, has been with us all along. And I was talking about it in the terms of ways it shows up in regionalism, which we see now with this 2024 election. This consciousness of the coasts, so to speak, versus the South and the Midwest in terms of beliefs and ideas and attitudes and whatnot. So I asked for people in the room who grew up in the South, who grew up in the Midwest, to really speak from that perspective. We did similar things around religious differences and whatnot. And it was just a fascinating revelation for everyone in the room. There are at least two sides, and then there's the truth. That when we unpeeled it all, that a lot of that sort of hurt and pain and tension really wasn't so much about like specific ideological views, but it was a much more existential issue, which we're watching happen here, like in 2024, of this feeling like each side was not only invisible to the other, but that each side perceived the other side as feeling superior. This is a very important point here. So that this idea of who's sort of the best, who's sort of the brightest, who's the more worthy of being able to be in control, there was just this deep suspicion that somehow the quote unquote other side would sell you down the river. As the people from the South and the Midwest were sharing their experience and saying how, for so many of their relatives, it felt like a betrayal, that they were like turning their backs on or spitting on their heritage by adopting these ways of the coasts, and a real pain and a sense of feeling alienated. And there was something very similar that was happening with the folks that were raised on the coast, of this feeling of somehow or another being betrayed. But the betrayal was about the global citizenship as opposed to the Americana. That somehow or another, the people from the Midwest, the folks from the South, that their worldview would be such that it was going to somehow be to the demise of the people on the coast. And that fundamentally, a feeling like they couldn't trust each other. I find this to be so true. Anytime that I'm doing one-on-one counseling or even like small group counseling, it's the most amazing thing to me. No matter how divergent or different the supposed issues are or perspectives, that underneath it all, everybody's thinking the same thing about the other. You're trying to control. No, you're trying to control. You want your way. No, you want your way. I was left and abandoned. No, I was left and abandoned. No, you left me physically. Oh, but you left me emotionally a long time before that. That this way in which they're dealing with the same issues. And it particularly amazes me when you're doing things like that are generational, how much they're actually alike. Whatever it is, opinionated or stubborn or self-willed, free-willed or whatever, that the very trait that they don't like in the other relative is their trait. And it just amazes me. So what I know is that when we're willing to hear each other, see it through the other people's eyes, something shifts. But what really shifts is when you start to see it through the spirit eyes. Through the spirit eyes. So what the spirit would say about all of that is that that's just the friction of fiction. That's all that it is. That as far as the universe is concerned, it doesn't care. It doesn't care a whole bit about West Coast, East Coast, Midwest, the South. The universe isn't changing what it's doing or how it's being based upon the geography lines that are constantly changing. Spirit doesn't care about all of that. So what would the relationship be if we transcended that stuff? First off, we can't even see that underneath it all, we're kind of wanting the same thing. But if we could get beyond the idea that you're holding the good from me, if we could move beyond that, there's not room enough for you and me within this situation. Like one of us has got to win and one of us has to lose. If we're willing to just transcend that a little bit, what we will find is that there's so many more opportunities that open up. And the opportunities that open up aren't just about the resolution of the issue. It's about healing our hearts. Listen to what I'm saying. Our problems are not caused by the differences. Our problems are caused by the polarization around the differences. The differences in and of itself don't cause any problem. It's the way we square off and other each other because of the differences. So if there's a part of us that can get to the point where we can say to ourselves, well, yeah, you see it differently and I see it differently, but there's still only one of us here. There's only one God, there's only one people, there's only one presence, there's only one power. That's all that there is. And that is more important. I'm actually fascinated in this socio-political climate that we're in right now. Just days away, just like a couple of weeks, just really, like close here now to the election. And it's unprecedented. People talk about the divisiveness, but we have never had an election before like this, where you have so many people crossing party lines, collaborating, networking, pulling together in a place that's transcendent of the divisiveness. People that don't even like each other, people who don't agree with each other on anything, and yet they perceive something. There's a goal. There's a truth that has these earmarkings that I'm talking about, a place that feels transcendent, a place that feels like there's room enough for all of them. And that striving for that place, that all-inclusive place, is more important at this point in time than anybody trying to win or like to win over. Making it very clear that to join this coalition, this movement that's going forward, is not to acquiesce one's identity. It's not to, quote unquote, join the other side and like become one of them. It's about being something that's higher. And in this context, it's being an American, being part of this nation. But this kind of concept that I'm talking about, it's not limited to just politics or to anything national. It's this place where we come together, whether it's being a family, whether it's being a global citizen, your neighborhood, your local community, whatever that is, this place of a truth that reveals itself about who we are, what we need, that isn't colored by all of our differences. It's certainly part of the flavor and the mix, but that the greatest common factor, as opposed to the lowest common denominator, using mathematical terms, that is the rallying call. That's the place that we're striving to enhance, to live in. And I guarantee you that if you're really looking for the truth beyond sides, you're never going to find it. You're never going to find it if you're not willing to do what I'm talking about. If you're not willing to look beyond your particular point of view, your particular side, And I used to take so much stock in wanting to be right. And it's just highly overrated. Because you can be right all by your own right little self. Do you want to be right? Do you want to be happy? Do you want to be right? Or do you want things healed? I remember an example that I gave in church years ago, trying to explain this. And the example I gave, I said, if you're my daughter, you're 15 years old, you don't even have a driver's license, you steal my keys, you go joyriding, completely wreck my brand new car, and you're driving drunk, you are wrong. Okay? I just, no way there's anything else other than you are wrong. However, if all I stand on is you are wrong and I'm right, I'm not going to get to the truth. I'm not going to get to the truth. See, I have to lay aside my being right and ask some hard questions. What's going on with her? Why is my 15-year-old daughter drunk in the first place, let alone driving my car? If I really ask that question, I'm probably going to find out that the answer has something to do with me. All right? Something to do with me, which I would have never known. I would have never figured out. In order for the issue to be resolved, everybody has to be in it. Okay, not just part of the solution, but a willingness to see how we may all be part of the problem. That there's some shift, that there's some change that all of us have to make. So I have this choice. Okay. Do I want to stand in my rightness and be punitive and ground her, like, exercise all my authority over her? Or do I want the situation redeemed? Do I want my kid? Do I want my family? Do I want my relationship with my kid healed and whole? Do I want all of us to thrive? If I want that, then I'm going to have to move beyond the sides. I'm going to have to move beyond the sides of I'm right, she's wrong, her side, and nobody likes me, and you're an ogre, and you never let me do anything, and blah blah. Both our sides, wah 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 wah. That somewhere, if we want to have the truth, what does this look like to God's eyes? If we weren't stuck in either of these sides, and we're looking at everything holistically, no othering, only one of us here, what does it look like now? This is a lifelong practice. I invite you into it. And I promise you that you will experience more joy, more empowerment. You will experience greater insights. You will experience more compassion, more forgiveness, closer relationships. Your energy will go up, the judgment will go down. All of that and so much more. It's worth it. it's worth it. Trying to be right and make everybody else wrong, it comes with a high opportunity cost. And that's your joy. Let's not trade it in for baggage. No, let's get free. Let's turn to prayer now. We're willing. Prayer is a movement in consciousness, and we are the ones that are moving. We're moving towards greater understanding. Prayer is our agreement to lay down our own perspective and to see through divine eyes. Prayer is our willingness to admit that we don't know everything, to humble ourselves, to be open, perspective, resolutions that we never even considered. Prayer is our agreement to open up our heart space, where we're not just me, mine, but there's room enough. There's room enough for everybody to win. There's room enough for all needs to be met. Where we're not hiding our light under a bush. We're allowing ourselves to be like the sun that shines on the just and the unjust. So I say thank you, God. Thank you for the ways in which we bless each other. Thank you for our teachers that come in all shapes, sizes, and forms. Some in bodies, some not. But I wouldn't trade nothing for my journey now. Each and every step has brought us to where we are. So we have the courage to embrace it all with gratitude. We live that serenity prayer. Whatever it is that can be changed and should be changed, we have the courage to do so. What is not ours to change, we have the serenity to accept what is so. Knowing that the divine is using it for higher purposes in ways that may not be always apparent to us. But we trust. We trust. Lord, lift us up where we belong. Plant our feet on higher ground. We let go of the judgments. We let go of the hardened places of our heart. We let go of the fear and the doubt, the anger, resentment, jealousies, anything and everything that keeps us cemented. Oh no, we take all that stuff off, take the shackles off our feet so we can dance. We dance the dance of life. We dance the dance of joy. We dance the dance of prosperity, of wholeness and abundance. We dance the dance of freedom, knowing that spirit comes through as all needs met. We're dancing the dance of health, of vitality, of trust and truth and wholeness, integration and balance and clarity. This is where we live. This is our dwelling place. And whatever it needs to look like in the manifest world, so be it. Divine right housing, divine right transportation, financial sustenance, so we're thriving and not just surviving. Peace around the world. The people are able to live in dignity and safety. Clean air, clean water, food, clothing, healthcare, education, community, fulfillment, music, arts, expression. Everything that we need to be happy, healthy, fully actualized human beings, so be it. We pray this same prayer for Mama Earth, that she too be restored and rejuvenated. We hear you. We hear you. Not our will, but thine be done. We say a special prayer for leaders in the electoral process all over the world, however it is that people are coming together to organize and to govern themselves. May it be done with the utmost of integrity and equanimity. It's good. Life is good. We get out of the way, we allow it to be, and so it is. So it is. We are a praying community at Inner Light. You see, scrolling across your screen now are ways that you can reach our prayer ministry. You can give us a call at 831-465-9090, extension 254. You can also send us an email, the number 4 and the word prayer at innerlightministries.com. Yes. Held in the strictest of confidence. These people have trained at least 3 or 4 years to be able to hold this space. And whether it's for you, whether it's for a loved one, whether it's for a global concern, or maybe it's something good, something unfolding, and you want somebody to stand in agreement with you for the highest and the best. We're here for that too. We walk this together. And God, there is no distance. So don't let geography get in the way. We're so blessed to have technologies these days where we can keep the community in community regardless of where we are. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for being a part of this Inner Light community. It's not membership, just show up, just be, just contribute, spread the word, spread the ideas, like us, share this on your social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find out where we are by going to our calendar. You'll see various activities and things that are going on. And stand by for a couple of things. We are working on some election things for election night. It's kind of a Zoom vigil or something like that, and perhaps the next day too with some of our other spiritual communities. So we're working on that, and you can also, you'll see at the end, you can check out my website as well. There's some workshops that I have going on. One that just started and another that's going to be coming up in November that really is all about how we can do this. It's called Rejuvenating Relationships, and it is strategically placed right there before Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving, before the big holidays. There's a wear and tear that politics, social media, unresolved issues, and all these things can, a toll that it can take on our relationships. And in the midst of all this stuff that's going on, we need a lot of self-care and relationship repair. So I'll make sure that next time we have the graphics up to show you that. And this is our time of conscious giving. This is our time where we circulate, where we say thank you to the universe for ways in which we have been blessed. This is the time when we support the things that are supporting us. And you'll see on your screen that there are numerous ways that you're able to make a financial contribution. You can use debit or credit card through this QR code that's there. Please consider the recurring option. There's also the recurring option within the text to give. And that text is 831-231-0065. You follow the prompts, and once you set yourself up in there, next time go around, all you have to do is text. You don't have to input anything else. You just text that number and put in a dollar amount, and you're good to go. There's a Cash App at $ Inner Light Ministries. If you're looking online, you'll see that there are donate buttons that are there. Regardless of the methodology, know that you are deeply, deeply appreciated. We thank you for your support, and for you to remember that we live in a universe of reciprocity. Okay? So what you give, what you put out, you get back. You get back. Your generosity returns to you. And I invite you to repeat after me. My every act produces abundance. I dare to give freely unto the truth that sets us free. I release this gift, knowing it returns to me 1,000-fold. Yes, 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 yes. So glad to have spent this time with you. Our motto at Inner Light Ministries is take this consciousness and multiply it. Everything we've said here, try it everywhere. Try it at home. Until next time, peace and blessings to you.